Hello, Miami. This is 305 Sports Now, your home podcast and channel for all things Miami sports related. I am Will, and the Miami Dolphins, right, once again, win their fifth game in a row as they defeat the very lonely Houston Texans by a score of 30-15. Tua Tagovailoa played about 3/4 of the game. He finished with 22 of 36, 99 yards passing with one touchdown, and once again, very important, no interceptions, that hurt his team at all. So the bottom line is the Miami Dolphins are playing very well with Tua Tagovailoa, and so on receiving as well. They had Jalen Waddle with 5 catches, 85 yards. You had Tyreek Hill with 6 catches, 85 yards. Durham Smythe had the lone touchdown pass for Tua. Durham Smythe had a lone touchdown for Tua, from 4 yards out. In particular. Just a few notables in the game. Terron Armstead, leaves the game, which we just found out was a bit of a pectoral strain. So he should miss some time, but it's not as serious as the Dolphins thought. The Dolphins thought that was going to be a tear. And thank God, and so on, that he is going to be okay. Lo and behold, he's out of the game. And which pretty much throughout the first 4-game stretch, while he was playing, alongside, blocking for Tua was basically had a clean uniform throughout, that tenure that he was playing. He goes out and they give up 4 sacks, right? The Miami Dolphins, they move Brandon Snell over to the left tackle position, and he just flat out is no match, for the Texans pass rush. Tua goes down 4 times in the game, prompting Coach Mike McDaniel to take some initiative alongside speaking with the trainers and so on, and pull Tua, to basically protect them, health-wise, so he not be hurt. The running game, which would have helped the situation out a bit, struggled once again. 66 yards rushing. All right, last week against the Browns, they had 137 yards, which pretty much was a very, very helpful for the outcome against the Browns, in which they defeated the Browns 39-17. On the defensive side of the ball, the Dolphins played a good, I would say, 2.5 to 3 quarters, I would say, of good defensive football. The second half was different. The offense got stagnant, especially when Tua was getting hit and they brought in Skylar Thompson in the game. The offense went stagnant and the defense started playing a little bit more off the ball, which led to a lot more passing attempts for pretty much the Houston Texans quarterback, as he himself, took a beating as well. And he was able to actually gain some yards, during the process of that particular during the particular half, and they actually eventually got in the end zone a couple times and were able to cut the lead in half with 15 unanswered points, making it a 30-15 game. All right. So Allen, goes in. Allen starts to look a little bit better, but as the Miami Dolphins pretty much mauled him earlier. The defense did record 5 sacks in the game. It was a great game for guys like Landon Roberts, guys like Bradley Chubb gets his first sack as a Miami Dolphin. All right. And also Jalen Phillips as well, in the game, getting a sack as well. The second half woes, like I said, were a bit of an issue, during the game. But bottom line is that the Dolphins, in the end, defensively speaking, were able to pull it out, and they shut down, the Texans in the fourth quarter towards the end of the game, preventing, a scare in which they probably would have to bring in Tua, in particular. But all in all, I was satisfied with the game. I never felt the game was ever threatened, as far as the football game goes, because the Miami Dolphins in general, they weren't playing world beaters like the Kansas City Chiefs, or the Baltimore Ravens that could kind of, score and be able to come at you yet again, in particular, as far as being a threat to the comeback goes. The Texans are a team that is struggling and is a team in transition with Lovie Smith as their head man and their head coach. So that's pretty much a bit about the game itself, as I want to go over. The Dolphins did overall have a solid defensive performance. All right, throughout the game, they forced 3 turnovers. Okay, they had 1 fumble return for a touchdown. They had an interception. They sacked the quarterback 5 times. They only allowed 210 yards, total yards throughout the whole game. So it was a very, very, very sound performance, statistically speaking, for the Dolphins. A bit of a scare that we saw, as the game progressed towards like the third quarter, fourth quarter. But bottom line is the Miami Dolphins were able to pull off a very, very, very convincing victory against a team that they should have manhandled, and it did manhandle them for most of the game. But this leads me to give you an analysis on the 3 most important players of the Miami Dolphins have. Player number one, and he's the most important player in the game, is Tua Tagovailoa. Tua needs to remain healthy. This team, this offense is clearly different when Tua is not out there, right? We saw it when he was out for 3 games. We saw that the offense did not put up the numbers that it's been putting up because Tua was not in the game. Tua, for all the knock he does get at times for the arm strength, he has no weakness in anywhere else in his passing game. He's making better decisions with the football, which is something Tua struggled with early in his career, and I would say even in some parts early on the season. All right, but Tua is insanely accurate throwing on the run. All right, stepping into the pocket as well. He could hit the out routes. He could hit the ball down the middle of the field. He could put the ball in placement in the deep ball situation where only his receiver could get it, i.e., Jalen Waddle. He had a great catch today, for the Dolphins. All right, so that is so he is very essential. He's one of the most efficient passers in the NFL today. 19 touchdown passes he has for the Miami Dolphins, in 8 games played. 19 touchdown passes, very little interceptions. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are having career years, yards-wise, because of the efficiency of this offense led by Tua Tagovailoa. Second player I want to go over is Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is incredibly important because due to the fact that he is the most dangerous football player on the field in terms of the skilled positions. Tyreek is having an amazing career year in terms of receptions and yards. All right. And this is a guy who came from a team that had Pat Mahomes as its quarterback. All right. Tyreek is just blows the doors down with his speed. He makes other players better because one of the main reasons why Jalen Waddle is so good is because Tyreek draws a lot of attention, as far as coverages go. Teams, double team him, which leaves lanes open up for guys like Waddle, Craycraft, Schrieffer, and so on. All right, so Tyreek Hill is incredibly important for this team. His health is incredibly important for this team. He was hobbling towards the end of the game as well, as hopefully he's healthy, and it's just basically just some soreness. And the last one I want to go over is Terron Armstead. Terron Armstead is at the left tackle position, has protected Tua when he's been in the game, and Tua has remained clean throughout the season because of the protection laid out by Armstead. We knew that he was a health risk when we signed him. He had some health issues when he was playing for New Orleans, throughout his tenure there. But we knew that he was an efficient, powerful, he could run block, he could pass block, all-pro offensive lineman. He is essential to the mechanization of this offense. This offense moves well when he is pretty much neutralizing the pass rush of any team he faces. Just ask TJ Watt, just to let you know how much he could control and so on. Teams' best rushers. Okay, Aiden Hutchins, another one, cannot get anywhere near Tua because of the blocking capabilities of Terron Armstead. All right. So what do the Dolphins need to do? All right. If Armstead's going to be out, the running game has got to step up. Okay, with guys like Mostert, Jeff Wilson, in particular, the running game has got to step up, right? They pretty much rushed for, 195 yards against Cleveland, and it was a great, performance against the Browns. Solid, also not bad against the Lions either, with 107 yards rushing in that game as well. The 49ers are the next opponent. They are a 3-point favorite. This is the style that Mike McDaniel brought over to the Dolphins. It's the Kyle Shanahan style of blocking and offensive efficiency. So pretty much the 49ers will be better prepared for the Miami Dolphins than any team that they have faced this season, because this is an offense that they've created. All right. So the Dolphins are a 3-point underdog against the 49ers. I get it because of travel, and the 49ers are playing decent football at 7-4. But the bottom line is I do think the Dolphins could win this game if they can create a massive pass rush against Jimmy Garoppolo, who's not the most mobile quarterback. He's efficient, not the most mobile, and they could be able to disrupt whatever the 49ers want to do. I know it's very simple and very cliche, but I think the Dolphins could actually do this and be very effective in doing it because they just have the pass rushers now, like Jalen Phillips, like Jerome Baker, who's pretty underrated pass rusher, and also Bradley Chubb to help out in a situation. Sad Emmanuel Ogbah is out for the year, but he would have been a very essential asset in this game. But nonetheless, the Dolphins, I think, have enough as far as defensive pass rush goes, to be able to neutralize Jimmy Garoppolo. All right. So again, Miami Dolphins, again, it's a win is a win. It was a solid game overall, except for the second half a bit. The Miami Dolphins do win 30-15. Tua looked great once again. Let's see what adjustments they make to the O-line without Teron Armstead, and let's see if the running game could step up and help the quarterback out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you heard, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to 305 Sports Now. Okay, just one more thing. Stay safe. God bless. See you soon.